All right, we're gonna use a fake name here, but if you do enough researching and snooping around, I'm sure you'll find exactly who it is. But the fake name we're gonna be using is Ronald. Okay, so Ronald calls me about a year ago, and Ronald says, "Hey, Eric, I saw your MCAT videos on YouTube." Okay, I used to make MCAT videos, helping people with the MCAT, giving them tips, study tips, how to take the test and all that stuff, right? It's a hard test. MCAT is a hard test. Anyways, Ronald calls and says, "Hey, Eric, I found your MCAT videos on YouTube. Are you still tutoring?" I go, "No, I'm not tutoring, but do this, this, and that, and it'll help you with your score." Ronald goes, "Okay, I already watched your videos and they're so good. They make sense. They're already helping me out." I go, "Okay, yeah, man, but I'm not tutoring anymore. I'm glad you like the videos. They helped out a lot of people. I'm sure they'll help you out. Good luck, man. You got it." Ronald goes, "Okay." Ronald then takes his MCAT, gets a great score, calls me back and says, "Hey, Eric, like, dude, I got a really good score. Thank you so much for, your videos, for, putting that out there." I go, I'm super glad to hear it, man. Like, I get calls like that all the time, and it really warms my heart. So thank you for sharing that. I always want to hear that I was able to help another student out that was struggling with the MCAT. And so Ronald goes, "Yeah." And so Ronald goes, "Dude, you got to come back, Eric. You got to come back to MCAT tutoring and stuff like that. Like, dude, you were so good, and I'll help you out, Eric. Like, I'll work with you and stuff." And I tell Ronald, like, "Ronald, dude, it's been so long since I took the MCAT. I forgot so much content. Like, if I'm gonna come back, dude, I have to dedicate so much time. Like, I don't know, Ronald." Ronald goes, "Okay, but I'm currently tutoring right now, and I'm only making like 25 to 30 an hour, Eric. Like, I know you were making good money when you were tutoring and you had this platform and stuff. Like, I know you had this whole business going. Like, Eric, like, do you have any tips for me or something like that?" I go, "Listen, man, like, it's been a while. Try to, charge more. Try to charge more, get better at it. Post on YouTube like I did, and you'll gain an audience and you'll gain credibility, and people want to pay you more for your services." Ronald goes, "Okay, okay." And so we talk. All right, good luck, Ronald. Boom. Ronald then calls me a couple days later, and Ronald goes, "Hey, Eric, I really need money. Like, I'm struggling. Like, something's going on with my parents. They're trying to kick me out. I need to find a place to rent. I don't have much credit history. I'm young. I'm 19. He's 19. Ronald is 19. Okay." And I go, "Wow, I'm so sorry to hear that, man. Like, okay, this is what you have right now. You have your MCAT tutoring skills, so you need to capitalize on that." So, Ronald, this is what I tell Ronald. I tell Ronald exactly how to sell MCAT services, what to sell, what to include, how to pitch, how to funnel students into, your Calendly booking site, meet up with them one-to-one on Calendly, and then present the offer, how to, like, basically a whole script for him to sell. I presented him the script. I told him how to, handle some objections. I told him what happens if they need to ask their parents, how to play that out, how to be cool about it. I told him exactly how to talk in YouTube videos. I told him basically what students light up to, meaning like what's the common thing that students want and how to take that want and point it to your services so they want to buy. I showed him how to price his services, the payment plans, the contracts as well. I sent him contracts of my previous contracts, so he's protected in any way, right? I show him all of this, and he's calling me every day, and I'm constantly giving him advice on what to do. Ronald, right, then takes my advice and what I said, which is good on him. It's a good student. You take advice and you implement it, which is awesome. Ronald takes my advice. He gets one sales call. One sales call, the client says, "I had to think about it." And then the client eventually found a different tutor who charges less and has more results. Okay. Has more results helping students and stuff. Ronald tells me this. I tell Ronald, "Listen, they did this because they price compares you. You need to present your offer in a way that they can't price compare you. If you do that, their brain can't find someone to price compare. And so whatever you're presenting is extra valuable for their eyes." Okay, that's just sales. You sell in a vacuum of one. When you sell in a vacuum of one, that's how you're able to charge higher ticket prices. So I tell Ronald this, and he goes, "Okay, how much do I charge?" I say, "You charge $3,000. Ronald goes, "That's crazy." Anyways, I tell Ronald, "It's not that much. It's really not that much for your offering. Your stuff is valuable, right? Being an MCAT tutor is valuable. You're not tutoring like 6th grade, 7th grade math. You're not tutoring the SAT. You're tutoring the MCAT, the medical college admission test, and you're a 92nd percentile scorer. So you're hard to find, basically. Okay. So you need to offer something that's also like you're hard to find already. And so if you offer something that's also hard to find that people can compare with, dude, the people are going to say yes. Okay. And they need your help. They need your services. Okay. I think it's like 40, I think it's like 30 to 40% of people that take the MCAT, they need to retake it. Okay. I'll put the statistic here so you can kind of fact check me. But basically, I tell him all this. All right. Ronald's second sales call, he closes for $3,000 in 1 hour. He's happy. He's like, oh my God, dude, like I can make so much money with this. Like, I don't have to worry about bills. Like I have enough money to move out and I'm going to make this. And then Eric, like, dude, you have to partner up with me, Eric. Like dude, if I just did it, Eric, like you need to come back and then all this stuff. I said, okay, Ronald, I'll see. I'll take in consideration. Ronald then goes on his third sales call after talking to me in between. Ronald's third sales call, he closes for $3,000 again, $750 cash collected. Amazing. And as this is happening on me, I'm like struggling to land clients on my video agency. And so going back to MCAT tutoring is looking really, really nice. So at this point, Ronald is like super trying to convince me to come back. I was like, okay, Ronald, I'll come back and I'll go back to posting on YouTube. People are still hitting me up. Listen, I'll come back. But in the meantime, as I'm catching up on my content, as I'm reviewing the books and, catching up, basically, as I'm catching up to be a tutor, reviewing all the books, there's a video. Like I put a video about all the books you need to study for the MCAT. So look at this. So I told Ronald, I need 2 months to go through all these books, right, to get caught up, and then I can start tutoring. So in the meantime, like if I pull my full time on this, I'm going to need a source of income. So I'm going to need you, Ronald, to tutor until I get back on my feet. Okay. I'll bring students in, you tutor them until I get back on my feet. And then we both work together on this and, we'll scale it up. We'll scale it up. I'll come back. Ronald is excited. He's super excited. He's popping Adderall pills to work, 16-hour days. And he's working on this and he's barely sleeping and stuff like that. And he's super excited. And I'm like, dude, that's amazing. Like hard worker. The Adderall is not amazing. I don't take Adderall. I don't condone. I don't do Adderall. I do no drugs at all. I don't even drink alcohol. I do none of that. Okay. Maybe on vacation, I'll have like a margarita or something. But other than that, like I don't do drugs. I don't do it. I don't smoke. I don't do nothing. Okay. So I don't advocate for that. But, he's working hard. He's doing his thing. And then eventually he needs more clients. He needs more clients. He wants to grow. So he starts using my name to get clients for him. I was like, okay, he's still telling me he's struggling with money and stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, like you can use my name, you can use my name. So he uses it, but he runs with it pretty hard, right? He's spamming Reddit chats, saying like, oh, I'm doing this with Erick Med. I'm doing this with Erick Med. And, I don't kind of want my name tarnished like that. I don't want my name to be associated with spam, spamming, looking desperate to get clients and stuff. So Ronald creates a website. He puts my name first there. And then for Ronald, he puts my name on the website. Okay. It's Erick Med there. And then a description that I never said. Then he puts his face, not his actual face, but an AI of his face there, right under me. I don't know why he doesn't want to use his real face. That's a red flag already. He said it's because the med schools wouldn't want to see him like that, which is weird because I feel like if a med school saw this, they'd be more impressed. But anyways, that was a red flag. And then eventually, I'm like skipping through the whole story here, but I come back to YouTube, I start posting, I get 30 students into MCAT University, 30 students into there, that they came for me, they trust me, all this stuff, okay? I told the students, Ronald's going to tutor for me as I get caught up, guys. I vetted him, right? I said, hey, Ronald is good. He's amazing. He learned from me. Like, you guys could trust him. I also let Ronald know that he can poach those students at MCAT University, meaning you can take those students at MCAT University and sell his own program to them. His 3K programs, though. I allowed him to do that. Okay. But I heard a sales call and it was a bit salesy, but that's fine. Do you see how generous I'm being to Ronald? Okay. Like I did so much for Ronald up to this point. Okay, granted, I'm still talking to him, giving him advice on all this stuff. All right, this is where things get bad, is that Ronald goes, okay, I need to move out to an apartment. I'm not going to say the state. This is not the state. Okay, I'll make up a state right now. The state is in Idaho. Okay, Ronald says, hey, I need to move out to Idaho. Okay, there's this place for rent. It's really cheap. The apartment owner said that he needs to see some type of proof that Ronald's going to pay on time. Ronald goes, okay. So, I mean, the apartment owner goes, okay, Ronald, you said you had a business partner, right? Ronald goes, yeah. Who? Ronald goes, oh, Erick. He's my business partner. So the apartment owner goes, tells Ronald, you get Erick to create an LLC with you, or put Erick on your LLC for 50% of the LLC. Okay. Ronald then calls me and says, hey, Erick, I need to add you to my LLC. You're going to be 50% partner in there. I go, huh? Yeah, that's not good, because if Ronald doesn't pay his rent, or if Ronald does anything bad, I'm responsible for it. I'm responsible for 50% of that. And for me to be 50% partner into this new business that he made, I'm not going to say the business name. We're just going to call it MC Med. We're going to call it MC Med. So Ronald made MC Med, right? And Ronald wants me to be 50% in MC Med. But for me to be 50% MC Med, I have to bring Erick Med in there, because I'm bringing students from Erick Med, and everything I build in Erick Med, I'm going to have to give Ronald 50% of it, you know? And Ronald could just like crash it down or not. He could not pay the rent, and then I'm screwed, and then Erick Med is screwed as well. So I told him that's a huge ask. That's a huge ask. And Ronald's upset that I don't want to go 50% in there. After all I did for him, right? He now wants me to give 50% of Erick Med for him. Kind of crazy. And then at that point, as I'm telling him, like, dude, I can't be associated with MMC anymore. Like, I have to stick to Erick Med to protect myself, all this stuff. And then Ronald goes, dude, and then he tries to tell me that I need him more than he needs me. Basically saying how, he wants me to be into MMC because of all these great things he's going to create, like practice tests, custom questions, and all these things. And, Ronald feels bad because I helped him out so much that he feels bad that I'm not going to hop on the opportunity with him. That's why he wants to be partners with me so bad. He's like, all right, dude, you did so much for me. Like, I really want you and I feel bad because of ethics and morals, and you give me that confidence, and, you have some business advice. And dude, I don't have advice by making millions. I don't. I haven't made millions, right? I'm going to be just as lost when we scale there, And he also tells me, he's like, yo, Erick Med is not the same channel it was like 3 to 4 years ago. Like, you don't have the same audience. Like, what are you going to do? Just run the Discord or run MCAT University and that's it? And so he's putting me down and saying how I need to hop on his opportunity. So don't forget like what I did for him, and his opportunity is not proven yet. It's not proven yet. He hasn't made $1 with his opportunity. He's only made money from what I taught him to do, using my name to get people. He used my name to get people and used what I told him to close, right? So after all of that, he was still not understanding after all that. So today I wake up, and then he has more power in MCAT University because he was the one that created the Discord first. If you create the Discord first, you're able to choose who you kick and who you let in. All right. It doesn't matter if you make the Discord and you give me like privileges and stuff like that. You can't give me the same privileges the owner that created the Discord. So whoever created Discord will always be on top of like the admin or whatever. So he has more power in there in the Discord, which I should have not let happen. But he was slick here, and he said, oh, dude, I know how to like run the bots and stuff like that. I know the coding, the bots and stuff like that. So just I'll set up everything. You just come in, you edit it, and you bring in the students, and that's it. So what happened also was I woke up today and I'm removed from the Discord. I'm kicked out. The 30 students I brought in there, they're with him only. They're with Ronald, and I'm kicked out. So and I still don't have access to it. And he's not answering. So yeah, after all I did for that, he tries to go ahead and run with the 30 students that I brought in. Right. So just to summarize everything, I helped him score well on the MCAT because, like, to summarize everything from the beginning, I helped him with videos I made for free on the MCAT that I posted on YouTube, these MCAT tips and tricks and all that stuff. He used what I taught him to score really well on the MCAT. Okay, on 2 sections, not 4, on 2 sections. He used what I taught him to score really well. He then comes back, needs money, needs help. I tell him exactly the golden sauce advice. Okay, I tell him everything he needs to do, right? How to sell, how to market, how to sell, how to talk on YouTube videos, setting up links, fixing the audio using Adobe Podcast AI, editing, freaking contracts, payment schedules, closing, sale, everything I taught him. He used it. So I told him all that, used it, got sales, made money, was able to move out. After all that, keeping up with him while I'm working, I'm giving up my video agency for going back and all this, gave him 30 students to show him how to set up MCAT University and all the channels in there, used my name, my face, my credibility he used to get students, and he poached my students. I let him sell my students. After all this, he then took 30 students and ran away with it and kicked me out of my own MCAT University. Crazy, huh? Like, you do so much for somebody and they just don't see it. It's crazy. So, yeah, I'll update you tomorrow what's happening.